Hey guys, Chris with Tillman Family Farms, and Jamie trying to sneak out of the picture. Anyhow, so I've been talking to you guys about making a shade trailer for the pigs out in the pasture. We're fixing to run through a really big section of pasture that doesn't have any trees or anything like that. There's some, it hugs a tree line but doesn't go into the woods. So I reached out, put a message out there on Facebook and asked if anybody had any kind of old trailer, and a friend of mine pops up and says, hey, I got one you can have. Got a lot of problems, but you can have it. So let me show you what we got going on with this trailer, because it's going to take some work to get this thing going. So here we go. So this is another boat trailer. At one point or another, somebody was using it, looks like for a lawnmower or something like that. Somebody gave this trailer to a buddy of mine because he was looking for a trailer to help somebody out with a lawn service or something like that. But anyway, so whoever had it before him replaced the hubs on it. I'm not sure if the hubs are the right hubs. They fit the rims that were on it, but it had hubs, bearings, and it had a cap. It had no, so the way this goes, I really need to go get the hub. But anyway, so the way it goes is that you got a hub and it's got a bearing on the back side and a bearing on the front side, and it slides on here, and then there's a washer and then a nut, and then there's a hole right here for a cotter pin that kind of holds that nut in place. I'm not looking to get this trailer roadworthy. This trailer is going to hold a big water tank, and it's going to have a fairly large I don't want to say structure, but that's kind of what it is. But I'm going to build a little wooden frame on here, kind of an A-frame type deal, so that we can stretch a tarp out over it and we can create some shade out there in the pasture. Okay, so but right now this is what I'm starting with, and I've got a couple of IBC totes that I'm going to be making the tank out of, and trying to work something out with a automatic water, because I have no water lines out there. I'm trying to beat the water problem. But right now this is what it is. I've got my hub off. I'm fixing to take some measurements on my spindle and go see if I can find some parts so we can come up with some farm ingenuity. All right, so we have a little progress. So I showed you that I had some hub problems. So we fixed the hub problems. These are not the right hubs, so they're still a little loose. All of this was free, bear that in mind. And I got it all put together with this little bit as we're going to be towing this thing around this pasture. No high speeds or nothing like that, so it's going to roll just fine. So now I've taken these pallets. Oh, you can see how bad my hair looks. Taking these pallets and stacked them up to make a platform in the middle. They have been screwed together so that they don't slide apart. And now to get that tank up on top of it and start working on the shade portion of this ordeal. All right guys, a couple days later, I've been working on this thing kind of spotty. Had a couple days off from work trying to get some of this stuff done. Keep running out of things, running into issues and things like that. So we have the tank on. I've replaced the tongue, which is the hitch that goes on the ball, and I had lost these straps. These straps are tank straps that we picked up from Fort Benning a couple years ago, and the hooks on the end of them are not good for much, so I figured I would make them a permanent home right here. So let me show you what I got going on. So first of all, there's our hitch. Pretty simple. I was gonna weld it on and ran out of welding wire, and just decided that for what we're doing, that drilling a couple of holes, so I cut the old hitch off, and drilling a couple of holes and just bolting it on there was going to be just fine for this application. I do have a foot off of another trailer that I'm going to put on there. Just haven't gotten there yet, but that's going to come off right there, and we're going to put a new one on. So now let's go back here and check out these straps, and I can show you guys what I was talking about. All right, so these straps, I had to drill a hole in the trailer because most straps like this, there's another fabric piece that comes off here, and it's got another hook on the end of it. This one is made to the ratchet itself. So drill this hole here to get the hook through it, and just ratchet it down just like that, and it's going to work out just fine. These straps can have a permanent home and be very, very useful right here. Take you guys to the other side. So I drilled some holes in there, same thing. kind of see what you got going on there. Same spot, just for good luck. That's not going anywhere. Anyhow, waiting on a couple things, and then we'll get back to this build. So we've ordered the piece for the tank itself to screw on there with the valve, and then we're gonna put a barrel on here and let this gravity feed the barrel, but we got to get a top on here as well. So that's where we're at. We'll keep on moving along with it. All right, so my project is starting to look like something. I had to get a little creative with how to attach those boards up at the top, but these boards here, from here to there, are going to have a piece of 3/4 inch EMT conduit, which is an electrical conduit pipe, across it on both sides, and then there will be more of them coming from the top across those, and that's going to make this whole section kind of a wing type deal. But the roof line of this thing is just going to be covered with a tarp, and the edge of the roof line is going to be high enough to get through any gate that we have. Whole entire shade structure should be from end to end about 18 feet. So it's going to be 18 by 10. Should cast a really nice shadow. Still waiting on a couple of plumbing parts, and I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to get the barrel secured. Whether I have the barrel behind the trailer and have to move it separately, or if I have it in that section where that fan's sitting. Not sure yet, but we're going to be building it on the fly. So I'll have some of that stuff coming in pretty quick, and we'll get this roof on this thing tomorrow, and then we'll get the barrel and all that stuff on there as soon as the plumbing parts come in. Coming along, coming along. All right, guys, it's early. I'm out here trying to beat the heat, but it's kind of starting to take shape. I had to get a little creative on this end because of the way that it had to attach to the trailer down there. But we've got a piece that goes from there to there, and then each one of these pieces goes up. These pieces are 10 foot long. This is 3/4 inch EMT conduit. It's lightweight. I mean, it's very lightweight, very replaceable if the wind were to tear it up. Pretty cost effective, but this is probably going to be about 18 feet wide and about 10 foot long, so it should cast a pretty good shadow out there to create some shade in a very sunny section of the pasture out there. There's a wood line, but it's only going to give them shade certain parts of the day, so hopefully this is going to take care of that. So I'm going to keep on keeping on while it's still a little cool out here on these 100-something degree days. All right, so now we're starting to look like something. So just like I was telling you, so this is 3/4 inch EMT conduit. We put this piece out here for some stability and to give me something so that when I put my tarp over it, it didn't want to just kind of like pull down into here. But it's the same way on both sides. We're all screwed down and screwed off. It's relatively sturdy. This is going to be cut off here. The other side is a little bit different because of the way the pipes went on. They're not even all the way across because they're in two sections, so they had to be side by side up at the top. Let's see if I can see what I mean up there. They're side by side screwed up. So all the wood structure is screwed together with 3-inch screws, and I've got some bolts through there on both sides, and then we can come down here and we've got bolts here through the frame, so it's relatively sturdy. You know, this is not a permanent structure that's going to be used. It's made to be light, made to be moved around, so I think it's going to work out just right. The tarp can be replaced at any time, so we're going to try to get the tarp on it and see what this thing looks like. So here it is. Looks like a big hang glider almost. Anyhow, I've got it all bungeed down. So let's see here. So this end, so this tarp was a 10 by 20. So it's zip tied all the way at this end, all the way across. And it was a little long on this end. So we have bungees all the way up here, and it was a little long on this end. So it is bungeed in all the way across like so. This end of it looks kind of funny just because of the way it is, but I think that for what we're doing with it, we're creating shade for pasture pigs. I think it's going to work great. We're fixing to go down here and test it and make sure that I measured right and that it's going to go through gates, because it's much wider than any gate we have, but I made sure that this side was high enough to where it would go over the posts. So we're gonna go check that out and make sure. Still a few more things that need to be done in the trailer, but other than that, we are rocking and rolling, and we're gonna be creating shade.
Watch. Oh, okay, you're good.
Just like I planned it. All right, so here we are. We are out here in the pasture. We have a trailer set up, and so right now the sun is almost directly overhead. So you see what kind of shadow it's casting there. It's not going to be near as much shade as what that big oak tree right there is putting off, but it is going to be a lot of shade. We have an idea for the front of this trailer. I will probably get some stakes and probably stake it down so that the pigs can't push it around and all that kind of stuff. But that tank is full. That was one of the biggest things that I wanted to do before I came out here, was get this tank full. So that joker is as full as it can be. I do have some plumbing coming, and I'm probably going to do a whole nother video on how I'm hooking up the plumbing from there to the tank with a float valve. And I think that I'm going to have the tank on the trailer so that everything moves together. I've got plenty of room back here on this trailer, so I think that's what I'm going to do. But we're going to try to set up as much of this as we can right this minute, and that way we'll have all this out here, and we'll just kind of go from there. All right, so we got pigs in here. It's late afternoon. I mean, you can see how much shade is in here from this big tree back there. It's just casting shadow off. But earlier, before the sun got down behind that tree, even our shade trailer here was not putting off all that much shade. But we're gonna really see this weekend. So today's Thursday. Really gonna see this weekend when we set up the water tank on it and all that stuff. Our plumbing stuff should be here by then, and just really see how much shade it really puts off. They aren't freaked out about it. It's been sitting out here for a day or two, you know, with them in the paddock next to it, so they've been able to look at it and know that it's not a big bad monster and all that stuff. But there it is. It's lightweight, and it's, you know, it's done. We didn't spend a ton of money on it. I think between the tongue that I put on it, the stuff to fix the hubs, and the tarp and everything else, there might be 120 bucks in this thing, maybe. But we hope that it works, and hopefully it'll be around for a while and serve its purpose, because if you look behind me, beyond this shadow right here is where we're headed. You know, we got this line over here runs all the way up, and it's a lot of sunshine back there, so we need the shade. So hopefully these guys will get adapted to it, and it'll work out real good for us. But we appreciate you guys watching. I know we haven't put out all that much content here lately, but we've been busy. This is the busiest time of year for us with you know, canning vegetables and picking garden and going to markets, and then, you know, doing this work on when we can get to it. So we're going to try to get some more stuff videoed here soon, but we appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.